Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing another tier list, but this time we're going to be looking at the defenders in Rainbow Six Siege. This is going to be for Year 8 Season 2. We already did the attackers a couple days ago, so you can go check that one out if you would like. I'll try to have it linked in the description down there below, but it's just on my recent videos. Also, before I jump in really quick, I would like to thank you guys for the 1,000 subscribers. We just hit that earlier this morning when I woke up. I noticed I hit 1,000. That was crazy to see. The growth recently has been insane, like the last couple weeks. It's really been crazier than I ever imagined it would be. So just a big thank you to all the support recently. I try to answer every single one of your comments down there below. I even try to go back just to make sure I didn't miss anything. But if I did, just leave another comment. I try my best to answer all of them. There's been a lot recently, so it's a little tougher to go through than I thought it would be. But I also will be upgrading my video quality soon. I have ordered some things to help out with that. Just for the video quality. Because right now I'm using the, you can probably see how laggy it is here. I'm using my laptop for this one. But for my Xbox videos, I use Twitch to stream. It is 1080p, but the bitrate isn't the best, so definitely going to be a quality upgrade soon. But that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into this tier list. That's what you're here for. The operators are in alphabetical order. Somebody in the comments, shout out to you, told me that last video. That's why Warren's last. Alibi, Aroni, you get it. So that's the order we will be going in. If you would like to see a specific operator, you can just skip to that now. But let's go ahead and start. So first we have Alibi. Alibi is going to be a very good solo queue operator. I'm going to put her in A. She has the bailiff secondary, so you can make line of sights if you need for your setup. You can make rotates even if you'd like. She did lose her impact and shield, I believe, so now she only has like what, the little drone blocker. I don't think that thing's too bad though. That works really good in tandem with the Alibi clones I've seen, because the drones won't see it's there, then they will go and shoot it, and then you'll have good pings on them. So they have to actually like enter in just to see where the clone is. The clones are also good to put on windows, so if they jump through, they'll have to shoot it or get detected once again. And she's just a really good operator, really good gun, high fire rate. I love her gun. Even if it doesn't have the 1.5 times anymore, it's still really good. It shreds when I use it. And just a 3-speed. On to the next, we have Aroni. Aroni for solo queue, probably going to be in the same tier. I'd put her higher, but she's a little bit slower. And you're usually going to go with the DMR. I think that's the better choice for guns. If she had the 1.5 on the Aroni, maybe S tier. Because that gun is just OP. But I think I like Aroni here. Again, you could set up sight with your little punch arm thing. I still like the DMR a lot with the 1.5. It's a really good gun. I do love it on Dokkaebi too. She has a 3 armor, like I said. That's maybe the only thing dragging her down. You know what? With the 3 other things she has too, the Aruni gates. I cannot think of the name. I think she's going to be S tier. I'll leave her there for now. She is better than Alibi. Azami, instant S tier. She's going to be the best so far. And maybe by the end, she'll be the best still. You can just do so much with Azami. You have the Kiba barriers. I think you have like, what, 4 or 5? I think 5 throughout the round. It's just insane. She's so good. Like, use her on Cafe and Piano, and it's just so OP. The attackers will not know what to do, especially if they're like mixed with solo queue and stuff. Unless it's a full stack, it's going to be really hard to clear your utility out. And you have the Deagle for making foot holes or head holes, which is very nice. A good gun, even if it doesn't have a 1.5. I'm glad it doesn't, because she's already ridiculous. I always try to ban a zombie in my ranked matches, so just going off of that, I think she's the strongest defender in the game right now, so she's got to be top S tier. Okay, Bandit. I'm probably going to put Bandit in the B tier. You can't make rotates or anything if you're solo queuing or like line of sights. It is good at Bandit trick in some instances, and this is a really good gun still, and a 3-speed. Very high fire rate. I do love the MP7, so that's probably why I'll stick Bandit in B tier. He wouldn't be bad on some sites. I'm tempted to drop him just to C, because you can't use him on a lot. Only the ones with like a banditable wall. He's good on Skyscraper too, very underrated there. I like using him for the T site and going to Rome on the other side and getting that one single wall. And then the double wall on Office, I think it is. And then you can also get the other single wall near that too. So you can get all 4 of those and bandit them all up. And it's very hard for them to enter in the other side of the map like they usually would. All they have is the staircase and some windows. Castle's going to be another B tier op for me. I think above bandit. You can probably use them in more situations. Well, there we go. I could not get him ahead of him. I'm going to have Castle in B tier because it's good to whip out a Castle strat like once a game or so. Not every round, but like maybe 1 or 2 rounds a game just for certain sites. Just little pocket strats here and there I think he's good for. Since he does have the shotgun, obviously, he has prox mines. Those are really good for solo queue to watch your back. And his weapon is fine, the UMP. If you're a headshot player, though, it's not going to be the best. The fire rate is terrible on it. It's quite the bad gun. On console, it's not as bad as it is on PC, I'd say, because a lot of people don't go for headshots as much. But I'm not the biggest fan of it still. For Cav, she's actually better than you'd think. I'm tempted to have her in C tier. I don't think I can do that, though, because she is still very bad. She does not bring much to your team at all. You're going to have impacts, which is nice for you. It's kind of like Vigil. I think Vigil's probably going to be right here above her, just because he has some better guns, at least. I really like the SMG-12, and he has the Kia. Compared to Cav, I use the shotgun on Cav, so you have to be really close. But Cav does have her instances where she can be very deadly. If you're not playing a good coordinated stack or something, you can go crazy with Cav, and you can just destroy the other team. And Vigil, like I said, he's going to be very annoying sometimes. I think maybe B tier for Vigil. Since you're solo queue, honestly, I don't think Vigil's the worst choice. I'm going to move Cav to C just because of that. I don't think she can be too far behind Vigil because she doesn't really do, like, too much different. Vigil can stall some more time for sure, but if you have a good spot with Cav, people do not drone on console, from what I've seen. You can always hide in some corner downstairs or something, and they're never going to drone you. And if you flank at the right time, they're not going to be watching the flank cam either. Because it's just console players. They're going to be on their TikTok. But if you want to put Cav lower, then I wouldn't argue with you either. It just depends on the player in the round. Okay, Clash. I think I'm going to put Clash in D tier. Sure, you have a shotgun to set up site. That's also a good reason to play Cav too. At least you have the shotgun to set stuff up before you roam. And that pistol is actually crazy. If you have good pistol aim, Cav C tier. If not, probably D or F tier. That's just one way to look at it. Clash D tier, though, you're not going to have a gun. You can't really play off the Clash when you're not with teammates. Like, these people aren't going to have a clue what you're doing, and you're going to get shot in the back of the head by your team or just destroyed by the other team because you have no help. Because, yeah, you pretty much just don't have a gun. She might be good. I'm putting her D tier instead of F tier just because she could be good maybe on, like, the Oregon bunker. Because your team does know what they're doing around a Clash probably there because it's more common. But very close to dropping that to F tier. We'll save that for someone else, I think, though. I'm just trying to look through the list and see. You know what? I'm actually putting Clash in F tier. I think she's the worst out of everybody I just looked through in the list. Nobody gets worse than that, so Clash is going to be the sole F tier for this whole video, probably. We'll see, though. We'll see. Okay, Doc. Doc is going to be a solid A tier operator. You can always play Doc. You have a bailiff for lines of sight and holes. You have a really good gun. I love the extended barrel on that. You can stem your team up. I had this one time where I stemmed 2 down teammates in like the span of 10 seconds. It was so good. Doc is crazy in this gun meta. And since we're at it, I'm going to put Rook in the top of B tier. I'd rather you bring Rook every round than Castle if you're in my solo queue game, so I'm putting Rook there. He's not as good as Doc because you can't heal during the round, but you do have some bonus HP just because of the start. And you have the 2x if you want it, so that's another advantage, but I think that's good for them. Doc and Rook are in their meta right now. This is where they belong. They've never been this good. Echo is very underrated. He's the most underrated on defense, in my opinion. I'm going to put him in the bottom of A tier. Like, what can he do? You have 2 cameras that you can use to help your team on a roam. You can help with yourself. You just have so much info with those. And you can stun the other team. You can stop shields because it just removes the shield from their body completely, and then your team can shoot them. What else does he do? You have impacts or a shield, 2 solid gadgets there to help you with whatever you're doing. You have a really good gun with a suppressor already, so they don't even know where you're shooting from. You can stop plants with the yokais. I've done that so many times. I love Echo so much. So I'm putting him in the A tier. He can do everything in solo queue. Like I said in the last video, he's kind of like Zero, but on defense. That's why I love those 2 operators, especially on Bank. If you've been struggling with Bank, a lot of people just hate Bank and ban it all the time. Play Echo on defense and play Zero on offense, and it'll do wonders for you. Okay, next is Ella. I don't think Ella's that bad, really. Maybe like top of C tier. Okay, now that I see this, I don't think I can have Cav in C tier. Like, I don't think she's on the same tier as Ella. I'm just going to put Cav in D for now, but I am debating over these, so just have that in mind. It's not like she's that much worse. But somebody has to go here. Ella, though, is really good. She has barbed wire, 3 traps. She's going to be great for solo queue for some sites for that. If your team has the rotates down, just take an Ella. You can barb up 2 different spots, and then you can also put an Ella mine on 3 different spots. That's 5 different things you can watch. And where's Thorn? There she is. Thorn is kind of the... not D tier. Thorn's kind of the same thing. I like Ella's gun a little better, I think, because the fire rate. But these 2 are pretty much the same thing. They have shield or barb. I bring the barb for solo queue, of course. But if you need a shield for something, sure, take that. Because then you also have 3 traps. I do like Ella mines better too, because they'll slow you down when you're in the traps. Thorns just kind of go off. But the thorn traps are really good in your barbed wire. I usually do 2 sets of barb with like 2 thorns and then 1 thorn somewhere else, you know? I think that's a good way to use her. The new operator. For Fenrir, I think I'm going to have him in S tier. Maybe not. It's hard to tell how good he is right now. He seems very good, though. In solo queue especially, I think. You have the bailiff to set stuff up. You have a really good gun, like I was saying, for Bandit. 3 traps that can be active. And those traps are just so good. They might be like the best in the game now. I think he's going to be a S tier operator at this point. It's crazy how many S tier operators they're adding to defense lately. The zombie, Solus, and now this dude. Maybe A tier. It's hard to tell. I'm going to put him in S, though. I think you can play him every round at this point, and nobody's going to be mad at you. He's so good. Okay, Frost. Frost is one of my favorite operators. I don't think you can play her every round, so I'm going to put her top of A tier. Only because, like, the Frost mats are going to be worthless on a lot of sites. Like, the traps on him are never going to be worthless. You can always find spots to put them, but on Frost. But the Frost mats, you can't really put them at, like, unique places. They're going to be on windows. They're going to be on stairways. Weird little corners or default plant spots, you know. They're not going to be very hidden. You can always see a Frost mat pretty well. As long as you drone and look. But she is still very good. She can set up site just like this dude can. She has a really good gun too. 1.5 though, unlike him. So I think that's a good rating for her. I think Frost is better than these ones. It just depends on the site, really. Frost could easily be S tier on a lot of sites. I always take Frost on some. Goyo, for solo queue purposes, I don't think Goyo's the best. Maybe like B tier. I'd bring a castle over Goyo just because you can set site up. I guess now Goyo can set site up. You have 2 impacts, but you'd prefer to keep those for later in the round still. If you were solo queuing, I'd go castle ahead of him on a lot of sites. Maybe not, though. I think these 2 are interchangeable. I would prefer Rook, though, on most, just because the health bonus. But Goyo's not a bad choice either. That's why he's middle of B tier. You could play Goyo a lot of the time and be fine. His gun is really good, too. I just don't really use Goyo for some reason. Jaeger's going to be an S tier still. You can always play Jaeger if you want. This is solo queue, though. If this is a real tier list, like just for operators in general, for like competitive play, maybe S tier would be good, but I think I'm going to drop him down now. I'd rather take Frost, and I'd rather take Doc when I'm solo queuing. He's going to be on like that tier with Alibi. Alibi can set stuff up, but Jaeger helps the team more. So I think that's a good spot for Jaeger on this. I think if you're solo queue, you're better off taking Womai. I'm going to have him in S tier for sure. Probably ahead of this operator and Aruni. Womai is just so good, he can do everything. You can set up sight with your impacts or your secondary pistol. The one does shots to the wall. Good damage to the wall. Not the P12, but the other one. The one that Maestro and Alibi have. So you can set up like footholes, head holes. You have your magnets, obviously. I use the proximity mines a lot of the time, but you also have impacts if you need. So Womai is just a great operator. And the MP5K, which is an insane gun with a 1.5 now. Maybe I'll insert my flick I had with this gun. It's insane. But moving on to Cade. Cade for solo queue, if he's not banned, he's probably going to be S tier. I take the shotgun so I can set up sight too. I can make head holes and stuff. I think the shotgun's really good on him, the TCSG. With the 2x scope, it's so good. He's just banned so much now. You can obviously stop the wall from being breached, which is huge. If you can stop that, you'll probably win the round. That makes it a lot easier for your solo queue teammates. He has the C4, so another great gadget there. I think he's S tier if he's not banned. Look at the balance so far. We have 5 on each row. I'm not even trying to do that. Oh, Capcan. Capcan's easily going to be S tier, right with the new operator, I think. Especially on console, and that's where I play. That's why people ban it all the time. He's the most banned defender, actually. You have so many traps. They're so good. People just run through them all the time, especially all the Zim players, because they're terrible. His gun is really good, too. Even without the 1.5, I still like his gun. Just like on a zombie. It's so good. You could take Capcan every round if he's not banned, and you'll be good. Now that I'm seeing this, I think I'm going to move Cade back to A tier. Like, there's some sites where you don't really need a Cade. You're probably better off just taking a mute or something. Which I'm going to put mute in S tier. You can always take a mute because you can use him for 2 different things. You can use him for wall denial, and you can also use him just for drone denial instead. There's kind of 2 different ways you can play mute. And you can always combine them into one if you need to get one wall and then use the rest for drone denial and stuff. So that's why mute's going to be S tier. And you have a great kit. You have the shotgun, you have the SMG, C4. Can't go wrong with that. Legion, I think for solo queue, usually he'd probably be around like B tier or A tier, but for solo queue, he's going to be S tier. You can always take Legion, and that's going to help you a bunch. That seems a little too good, though. I'm going to put him in the top of A tier, actually. You're probably better off taking somebody else a lot of the time, but you can always take Legion and be good. You know? Have a lot of goo mines to watch your back. You have impacts. I like taking Legion on some sites to impact trick. I could put a lot of goos around me and around the common site entrances and stuff. And like the hallways entering the site area. And then I can just sit under the hatch and impact trick. I like doing that on Canal. You can actually impact trick that hatch in the basement. It's good for like Clubhouse too, though, for that. It's good for Oregon upstairs. Yeah, I like Legion. Maestro for solo queue, I would not recommend it just because he's so slow, you know. I'd probably go L or Thorn over Maestro. He is really good in some situations, especially with that the drone blocker thing. I think he has one. If not, then my mistake. You'll have to use somebody else for it. But if you put one in front of the Evil Eye, the drones don't know where it is, which is really helpful. So they won't know ahead of time. I like using him on Oregon upstairs too, just for the same thing I was saying for Legion. You can impact trick since he has those, unless they were taken away now. Or have barbed wire for stairways or whatever you need. But he's just a little bit slow. He doesn't have the 1.5. So, and you got to be on cameras more, which is not the meta right now. That's the only reason I have Echo in A tier and not like S tier. Malusi, Just because they meta right now, she's going to be S tier for sure. I'd rather have a Melusi probably if I was playing myself over like a mute. I'd still rather go Capcan though, I think. But yeah, Melusi's definitely going to be S tier. Those Banshees are so good still, like especially on Oregon, like I was just saying, say you're on White Stairs, you can just put one at the bottom, and now when they're coming up, you know exactly where they are. Just pre-fire around the corner, free kill. And it's just so nice you have 3 of those throughout the round. So if you're just playing off one and then your teammates can play off the other 2, you're set. Melusi's really good. You just got to be able to hit headshots with that gun. It's a hard one to use. Okay, for Mira. For solo queue, honestly, I don't like going Mira because it kind of messes with your team. They don't know really what they're doing around your Mira windows most of the time. So I'm not going to take Mira a lot. I'll put her B tier though. She's still really good, so I can't put her lower than that. But I will have her in B tier. I'm tempted just to put her in bottom of A tier because people are going to get mad at me for having her so low. But it's solo queue. I don't really think it's the best. Especially when you're in the higher ranks when everybody's just running around. You're going to be on a mirror window and your whole team's going to be dead by the time you get to do anything. So I'll have her at the top of B tiers. You could put her in A tier if you want. I just would not recommend going Mira. Okay, for Mozzie, I really like Mozzie in solo queue because you can stop drones so well yourself, and you're going to need that. I would put him in A tier. I think he's not as good as Mute because of the shotgun Mute has. But his gun is maybe the best on console. The Roni's insane. The Zim players with it are just horrible. I hate it. It's the worst thing for sure. Obviously, Warren's gun's better, but we'll put Mozzie in A tier at the very top. You can go Mozzie most of the time and be good. Oryx, he's not as good as he once was, but he's not bad. I'll put him in B tier around with like Vigil. I'd probably go Vigil over him just because I can avoid droning more, but he is very fast, fastest operator in the game, so I think this is a good rating. His gun's still really good. Kind of like Vigil's actually, now that I think about it. They have no 1.5, but really good gun. Pulse. Pulse in solo queue is not the best. Your team is not going to know what you're doing with that gadget at all. They're going to have no clue. And even if you're yellow pinging, they're probably not going to have any clue because they're solo queue teammates. The UMP again, just like Castle, not a very good gun. You don't have anything to help set up sight. You do have a C4. You can easily get a kill off just going Pulse. Say on Villa, just go underneath the trophy and all that. You can probably get a C4 kill off somebody entering through there from just being below, but that is 50-50. At that point, I'd rather just go Valkyrie than Pulse, honestly. I think Valkyrie's going to be like, for solo queue, probably only like a B tier operator. There's only so much you can do with Valkyrie when your teammates aren't even on your cameras or helping at all. She's kind of like Mira. They're a lot better with a team than solo queue. You can't help set up sight with Valkyrie either. The cams are going to be good, but I'd rather just go Echo. At least Echoes are invisible and they can move. And he has a much better gun with the 1.5. Solus, she is going to be S tier still. You can do a lot with Solus and solo queue. You can just run around and be just a crazy rat. And it's going to be very good. I'd rather play Solus, I think, over Mew or Melusi. I'll drop her right here below Capcan. I think that's a good rating. And her gun is very good. 51 bullets is insane. These are also all balanced still. Well, I'm telling you, I'm not meaning to do this at all. This is just kind of happening. You know what? I kind of feel bad putting Valkyrie in B. I don't think that can happen. I'll put her in A tier. I know, I ruined the perfect symmetry of the list, but Valkyrie is still really good if you use her right, just like Echo. I'm actually going to move Echo ahead of Alibi. Yeah, I like that better. Smoke, I think, is still going to be S tier. He's not as good as he was. Not having the shield to help the sight, but it might be better, honestly, for solo queue having the barbed wire. I do prefer barbed wire because now you can kind of watch your back with that. It's kind of like traps. Like I was talking about for these girls earlier. I do think it's good having the smoke barbed wire. Honestly, I think it's better to have the barb over Mute because Mute only has the C4. so you can watch more stuff with the smoke. I think they're kind of in the same area now. If I was to pick one of them during a round, it'd probably be smoke, and he's a little faster. The area denial's still really good though, the gadget on smoke. Tachanka, okay, Tachanka is not going to be very good. I don't even know if it's worth picking Tachanka over Cav a lot of the time. At least you can set up sight if you take the LMG. That's what I would take on him, not the 2.0 gun that Capcan has. Unless you know your team's going to set up sight fully, then don't take that gun. If they are, I guess, take that gun though. Take the 2X, shoot people, use your fire bolts when you can. You can have a shield or barb, and I guess Tachanka is better than some. Honestly though, I would rather go Tachanka than... no, I wouldn't. I would not rather go Tachanka than Pulse, probably. He can be C tier though, that's not bad. I won't put him in D tier. Thunderbird though, I will be putting in D tier. I think Thunderbird's pretty useless. I'd rather go Doc in every instance. And if somebody's already picked Doc, then I'm just playing somebody else. I'm not playing a healer. Because Thunderbird is not good. I don't know why all the console players always love playing Thunderbird. It's crazy to me. She just isn't very good. There's so many ways you can destroy the Konas too. With like Twitch drones or Bravo or whatever. And her gun is not it. Her gun is very overrated. The bearing is good though. Okay, for Warren, I think Warren's going to be... I don't know if you want to play Warren every round. I'll put him in the top of A tier. Obviously, the Zims are going to play him every round. He's kind of like Mozzie, but you can still play him most rounds, and you're going to be fine. If you played him every round, you'd also be fine. I just have so many S tier operators, I don't want to put any more, you know? I don't know if a Rooney belongs this high, actually, now that I think about it, too. Just for solo queue, she's too slow. You just need to be able to frag out. I might drop a Rooney to this tier and move Warren up. Like that. I think I like that better. You can play these top, 9 operators. You can play these guys every round and you'll be fine. They're just so good. You see them in most rounds anyway. Again, like I said, the new operator, I don't know where to put him. He could be top S, he could be lower S, he could be A tier, I don't know. I'm just kind of putting him in here somewhere for now. But that is my Defender tier list. Tell me in the comments if you guys agree on these rankings. Tell me what you would change, personally. I got some good comments on the last one of these I did for the attackers. And yeah, I'll talk to you about what I think. If you did enjoy, though, leave a like down there below. Again, thanks for all the support recently. It really means a lot to me. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.